guys, Prowl 1701 here, and today I'm going to be ranking the 10th Doctor's era. All of the stories from the 10th Doctor's era on this list. I know for a generation the 10th Doctor is kind of the Doctor. He's some people's favorite Doctor, and David Tennant is a great actor. He's good in the role. Now, most of you know C is average for me, so anything that falls in C is average, which is fine. Average is just that, average. Anything below C is below average. Anything above C is above average. We do have a garbage tier for stuff that's just abysmal crap that shouldn't exist. And then we also have a GOAT tier for stories that definitely rank up as some of the greatest of all time Doctor Who stories. And we're going to get started. We're going to do these in order, or close to within order. Christmas Invasion. I'm not a big fan of Christmas Invasion, I'll be honest with you. The last 15 minutes are good, but the rest of it doesn't do much for me. It really needs to go about here. The last 15 minutes will bump it up to a D. I think it's below average. I don't think it's that good. But the last 15 minutes kind of redeem it. New Earth. So, New Earth. I'm not a big fan of New Earth, but it's not bad. You know what? Average is a good word for New Earth. It really is average. I don't dislike it, and I'm more kinder toward it fresh off a rewatch, honestly. It's nothing to write home about, but average is actually a really good place for New Earth, I think. Tooth and Claw. Kind of here, actually. I like Tooth and Claw. I don't go back to it a lot, but I like it. Does it reach A? I'm going to stick it in B for now. I'm interested where I put it on the ranking list, putting where I ranked all of them, like from An Unearthly Child through Church on Ruby Road, because I could see it going either way there. School Reunion is A tier. I want to put it in S tier, but I can really only put it in A tier. The CGI is aged on it badly with the bat creatures. Definitely A tier. Girl in the Fireplace is S tier for me. Or not S tier, GOAT tier. I love the Girl in the Fireplace. That is a GOAT story for Tennant. Again, ranking these just the Tennant era is a little different than ranking all of Doctor Who, especially since like an A tier classic story doesn't really correspond with an A tier modern story. So it's a lot harder to do. So my list isn't going to be as consistent as it is in the video where I'm ranking all of them. But especially for the Tennant era, definitely GOAT tier. I love The Girl in the Fireplace. Such a good story. Rise of the Cybermen. B. Age of Steel. B. Idiot's Lantern. I call it C. It's fine. Idiot's Lantern's fine. Impossible Planet. Satan Pit. S tier. Definitely S tier. The CGI is dated. That's really the only thing knocking it. And Tennant has one or two really terrible speeches, but he also has some good dialogue too. Definitely a good tier. Gabriel Wolfback is phenomenally good. I love Gabriel Wolfback voicing the Beast. He, of course, voiced Sutekh in Pyramids of Mars, and I'm sure that was done purposely. Love and Monsters. Garbage. Straight up garbage. A couple points for the ELO music, maybe, but garbage. Fear Her. Garbage. Absolute garbage. Like, I want to at least pop this into F for having the ELO music, but I'm not going to because it's garbage. Fear Her is even worse, though. Fear Her is straight up garbage. Garbage, 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 garbage. Army of Ghosts in the... Once again, I don't think these can even slip into A. I like them well enough, but I never go back to it. I don't go back to this era a lot, especially Series 2 a lot. I just don't. Runaway Bride. I'm going to go C there. Average. Smith and Jones. C. Shakespearean Code is an A. I love Shakespearean Code. I'm tempted to put that in S. I'm going to keep it with A. Gridlock. GOAT. I love Gridlock. One of my favorites. I'm a huge fan of Gridlock. That's definitely going there. Daleks in Manhattan. I like that one a lot. Does it deserve A, though? No, we'll keep it in B. I think that's right there. Yeah, I love Gridlock. I've talked about Gridlock before. I love that episode a lot. The Lazarus Experiment is an A for me. I like that. It's got some dodgy CGI. You know what? I'm going to bump that up into S. I like Lazarus Experiment. It's got some dodgy CGI, but I really like it other than that. 42, average. It's fine. Human Nature and the Family of Blood. That could go either way. That's going to really just depend on the day. I will bump it up to S, but sometimes for me personally, I feel like it would go in A. Blink is, of course, GOAT tier. Utopia is solid S. Sound of Drums, Last of the Time Lords is solid B. Voyage of the Damned. All right, I'll give it A today. That's one of those that's going to vary on the day. Partners in Crime, solid A for today. Fires of Pompeii, I don't get into this one. I really don't. Just doesn't work for me. Planet of the Ooh, not a big fan. It's not bad, but it's not a big fan. Just a little under average. Just a little. Just a little. Suntarn Experiment, Poison Sky. A little below. It's got things I like about it. Love the Suntarn design. The Suntarns are used pretty effectively, and it's great to see Martha back. Doesn't really work for me. Doctor's Daughter. Not really feeling it. Love the fact it's got Nigel in it, because of course he also plays King Arthur in the greatest version of King Arthur ever, and also has the greatest version of Merlin ever. And George is fine in the episode. I just don't get into that one. Unicorn and the Wasp. That's S tier. I love the Unicorn and the Wasp. It is really, really fun. Like, part of me's tempted to put it in. You know what? All right, we'll say A tier. It's really S tier, silly fun, but we'll say A tier because S tier should be reserved for some of these higher ones here. Strong A tier. Silence in the Library, Forest of the Dead. I'll give those A for Tenant. I feel like in the main when I put it a little lower, maybe B, but I think it's a solid A for the Tenant stuff. Midnight is, yeah, I got to put Midnight in GOAT. That's just all the things it does. The fact it never explains the entity. I have to give it that. I mean, enjoyment factor is probably S tier, but it deserves GOAT tier. I'll give it that. Turn Left is an F for me. It's not garbage. I just don't really care for it. So it gets that for me. Stolen Earth and Journey's End is, it's just kind of B-movie fun to me. The Next Doctor I like a lot. It tapers off at the end, though. Really, it deserves here. I'm going to give it a B because the ending's kind of weak. Planet of the Dead is S tier for me. I love Planet of the Dead. My favorite of the specials, easy. Waters of Mars. Just going to get a C for me because it does things I like. It does things I don't. Objectively, it's very well made. I just don't get into it for some reason, so I'm just going to call it average. End of Time Part 1. End of Time Part 2. I'm pretty comfortable with this list, I think. I guarantee you some of these are different on the video where I'm ranking all of them. The 10th Doctor section is going to fall a little different because I'm having to do it in context with every episode of Doctor Who, whereas here I'm only having to do it in context with the 10th Doctor era. And that's going to change things. But I mean, we have 4 GOAT stories. Girl in the Fireplace, Gridlock, Blink, and Midnight, and I'm so tempted to bump Utopia up in that because it's right there for me. I love Utopia a lot. But we do have a lot here in S tier with Impossible Planet 2-parter, Lazarus Experiment, The Human Nature 2-parter, Utopia, and Planet of the Dead. I think those are all S tier stories for me personally. Lots in the A tier though. School Reunion, Shakespearean Code, Voyage of the Damned. That's probably more B tier, but we'll leave it there. Partners in Crime, Unicorn and the Wasp. I love Unicorn and the Wasp. The Library 2-parter, which again might be a little too high. It's a little bloated for me. The End of Time two-parter. I still feel like this probably deserves to be in B, to be honest. And then we got most of the stuff in B tier. Like, our the biggest category is B tier, which again, above average, above average. B tier, we got some C tier stuff with just a few things coming below, and D is just a little below average for me, just not quite at average. Still enjoyable watches. I mean, even these in E, I can get through them. They're fine. It's really when you start getting an F that I find them hard to watch, honestly, and it's just these three. So it's a pretty strong effort from the Tenet era. I want to know what you think of this list, so comment down below and let me know. Don't forget to click the like button and the subscribe button as well, and all that other fun Patreon stuff. Links to the Patreon down below. I have a hankering. It's on the wish list. Links to the Amazon wish list down below. I just added the Ambassadors of Death to that recently because I have had a strong desire to rewatch Ambassadors of Death. Not only so I can rewatch Ambassadors of Death, but I want to compare the actual episode one, which is a surviving master, with the other episodes, which are not surviving masters, just to do a video kind of talking about the difference and how they look. Also, I have the PO boxes down there as well. I want to give a shout out to some of my top tier patrons: Colin Coney, Stephen Crane, and Finn Perkins. I do appreciate their continued support, as I do the support of all of my patrons. It is appreciated. And most importantly, as always, thank you for watching.